Okay, good evening, everyone. Well, good afternoon, I guess. Welcome to the November 26th special meeting of Warren's Historic District. We have a quorum. Old business, Corliss Institute, demolish side porch and construction of addition. Hi. You see your new plans. Lots of siding information.
Yes, yep, and an updated window quote as well.
It looks
It's
great.
a lot closer than.
I mean, I hope you can see how radically better it looks.
For sure, for sure. We were definitely operating on the idea of trying to save money wherever
know.
we could.
We appreciate that. Yeah,
Present the changes.
yeah, you want to present?
Sure. So all of the double hung windows now have 2/2 Muntin patterns. We enlarged the windows on the street facing side. We added a window on the east side of the bathroom and also on the east side of the bedroom as well. We updated the window types. We were originally specifying Anderson windows, but we are now specifying the Pella windows that we discussed at the last meeting. There are also material updates where we have offered 3 different options in the hopes that we can get all 3 of them approved so that the builder can then choose which one works best.
For the windows
financially.
or the siding?
For the siding and trim. And we have also added colors as well.
Okay, well, we don't do colors, so
Perfect.
thanks anyway.
Okay.
Just regarding the windows, were they the divided light, true divided light, or simulated divided light, as it called?
I'm sorry, what was the
The
question?
simulated divided light, I'm sorry.
So they are
Forget what the term is today.
as close, they're either a fully divided light or as close to what that would look like as possible, where they would have a like a filler between the glass.
Yep. And the piece on the outside.
Correct,
Yeah.
and the inside.
It makes a big difference. I've only skimmed the different siding options myself. So I guess my first question would be is if you could give us maybe a summary of each material as to what they are, what your experience is with them or not understanding of them, just to guide the board.
So the composite siding is one that I have less experience with.
Is that
Which one is
Smart Side? Which one is that?
That is the
true exterior?
the true exterior, the Boro siding.
True exterior.
Oh, true exterior. Okay, that's that.
Yes. So it's a composite material. It has a more similar lifespan to vinyl. So it's about 20-ish years. They have a bunch of different patterns, reveal types, just like all of the materials do. And fiber cement, I'm sure you're all familiar with hardy board. Again, they have the different profiles and things like that. The fiber cement and the engineered wood have a longer lifespan than the composite by about 10 years or so. And they're all pretty well used materials, very commonly used.
How do they stand up as far as warranties? You know?
I believe they have pretty long warranties as long as all of the installation methods are followed. I'm not exactly sure on the actual warranty lifespan though.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's nice to do it once and do it. We'll have to do it again, 20 years,
For sure.
Do you have a preference with regard to this siding, these siding options?
Honestly, the preference would be whichever is most feasible for the project. That they all have a pretty similar look and feel to them. So it would honestly just be a financial decision, which is
Mm.
information that we don't currently have right now.
And for the addition only? You're not?
Correct.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of a clapboard pattern? Is that the idea?
Right.
Well,
Horizontal.
great.
Mhm.
Well, it looks so much better with the windows the way you have it now.
Are we still talking about vinyl windows?
Nope, so these are aluminum clad windows.
Okay.
Glad, great. Um,
Anyone have a problem with any of the three sidings?
Only if one of them seems to be a lesser lifespan. Which I guess would be this true exterior. I've never heard of it. I'm not familiar with it at all. So I can't speak to it. I do know the hardy board is good for a long time. And as far as I know, they all have to be painted, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So you haven't changed the footprint of the addition. You've added windows. You're considering siding options other than vinyl siding, all of which is helpful.
Yeah, I see like in the smart side, there's potentially 50-year warranties. So I don't know. That seems pretty great. Anybody else have any comments or questions?
I think I personally lean towards either of the cementitious options, the hardy or the smart side. And I think my only comment with picking a siding is I preferred the brush smooth than the cedar texture one. Just I find that the cedar texture, although trying to look like wood, actually looks more faux than anything else.
right.
It's really
Yeah.
exaggerated.
Right.
Yeah,
And it seems like both options have that, a smooth or a
Right.
grained option.
right. Good point. Does that one have a particular name or label? Margaret?
I think it just said smooth. There's a brush smooth and a cedar. I think they go by different names, but whichever is the smooth option.
Brush smooth, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, the cedar texture really doesn't add to the,
Yeah, it looks like it was sandblasted.
yeah.
Yeah.
To what we're hoping to accomplish.
Okay. Anything else, Carol?
No, I'm very pleased with the changes. Thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, the last thing I meant to bring it up at our last meeting, I apologize, is just the concrete piers. I didn't know if that was something that could be also encased in some type of again, a composite material to look like wood. I just think the main body of the existing house is those wood that supports the porch. And this is sort of emulating that look, but I feel like the exposed concrete might look a little untreated. If it could have a wrap around it.
It would need to be pressure treated because
Yeah.
it's in a flood zone. I
Ground
don't know
contact.
what that would add cost wise to the project. Are you suggesting like vertical planks around? Or like a,
Yeah, nothing complicated. It doesn't need to be decorative in my mind. I just think something that could be painted that could match the siding.
or like an OSB, like a panel kind of look? Or are you
No.
thinking more of
Mm.
like a,
Not even that. Yeah,
Just-
just something to cover it so it's not concrete. That's just my
Yeah.
thought. And I feel like in other districts where they have new construction in flood zone, that's usually a treatment option as they look for foundation treatments that you can do. And here, I think of the panels that you propose, the lattice is perfectly fine. But just, I think concrete with that is a little jarring.
What was your intent, to just paint the concrete or leave it natural, or?
I don't know if there was much thought put
Yeah.
into that, to be honest. Is everybody in consensus on the wood covering?
Yeah, so my only last question would be what is that lattice underneath
Yes,
panels in between the posts?
yes.
Um, I can't see, it looks like you have, it's diagonal. So I know there's a lot of it, so I'm just gonna say this. Historically, lattice was put in a place like that under a porch or something to let air flow, but they had small enough openings to keep animals out.
Mhm.
And nowadays, just to make it cheap, the openings are like this big, cats, animals are always underneath there and they can get nasty. And it's getting thinner and thinner and thinner, so do you have any spec for that would be, um, more traditional than what's going on now? And I don't necessarily need to see it, but that's just my only last outstanding particular thing.
I know when you get into certain different types of lattice, the price can increase drastically.
Yeah,
I don't know what the price difference would be to have a lesser gap between.
well, just
But I
something,
think with all of the other like very expensive modifications we've made, I don't know that that's,
I think there's something to be said for having it mirror what's on the house.
yeah, and I don't know,
And
well, I
then
guess it's in the
something
photo.
different.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the photo, so,
It looks
um,
existing looks pretty similar to what you see around town, maybe a little larger gaps
Yeah.
than you might
Okay.
want, but
all right, anything else? Anybody want to make a motion?
are you okay with this matching existing on the lattice? Is it okay to match existing on the lattice?
Yeah,
Yes.
So is there all three sidings seem fine to me. If people feel strongly about not approving the true exterior, then you guys can.
yeah, would it be okay if we recommended one particular siding or approved one particular siding?
Ideally, we would have all three
They'd like a
approved,
choice.
because we don't have pricing information right now on what each of them would be. So if you can approve of all of them, but with a certain finish that you
Yeah.
recommended, that would definitely be ideal.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
If the motion is to allow for three, include in that a recommendation as to the preferred side.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone like to make a motion?
Yes,
Just
yes.
like, I looked up
Yeah.
the true exterior warranty, it's 20.
Okay,
Okay,
so, I mean,
similar to the other two.
well, this one's 50.
That's a warranty of 50 years?
Um,
Yeah, big money.
It's big.
Want to make a motion?
yeah, I'll go for it. All right, I will make a motion to approve the application with the changes shown today, which includes the change to, or so I should say, selection of the Pella windows with the simulated divided light with spacer that are aluminum clad on the front of the house and the sides. The siding, three options are all appropriate, but it sounds like the commission prefers the cementitious option of either the hardy or the smart side as our number one preference, with the exception that it is the smooth surface and not the faux wood grain surface. And on if folks agree on the concrete piers, to apply some type of a pressure treated or appropriate flood zone material wrap around the concrete piers. Anything else?
And the lattice would match.
And the lattice will match the existing house lattice sizing and shape.
Okay. Anything else? You have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Carol. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go. Good luck.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
You
Yeah,
too?
happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy
too.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much.
It's gonna look great. I mean, it's
Yeah.
noticeable, as soon as I saw the drawing, I was like, wow, like,
Thank you.
it's great. So good luck
Yeah,
on your
Thank
end.
you for working with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You want any of this paperwork?
You know.
This isn't in the nature of an action. It's more in the nature of an announcement, appropriate to the that. I just want to bring your attention to the fact that appeal that involved warrant, all the versus the warrant claim. That has to do with the, you have that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what the case, the result of the case was a remand for additional findings of fact. No new hearings are mandated by the decision. It's just that the judge, by the way, is handling now all of the land use matters, Judge Lee Reader. He wanted better findings of fact on there that would be sufficient to determine whether or not the application should have been granted or not. And the only reason that I bring that up is that land use attorneys, we've been noticing that that's becoming more frequent. Staying in court, Judge Lanfear likes to see robust findings of fact. So the reason I'm bringing it up to all of you, by the way. But here I'm looking at your program guidelines of the ordinance. In this circumstance, there was an approval. They're very happy they're leaving. But if that's not the case, and there is going to be a motion not to get the grant a certificate of appropriateness, it should be accompanied by sufficient findings of fact under the standards that you have, so that appealing bodies can take a look at it and say, this is what you did, this is what you didn't do, these were the reasons for it, and then make a determination as to whether or not it's correct.
And now you're referring to the planning board when they made their decision?
Yes.
So Tony,
Oh, by the way, that was the Carter case too. That thing went to the federal court, to the Superior Court, back down to the findings of fact.
Which one?
Carter, then it went to the federal court and back down to the Superior Court, back down to the zoning court twice because of insufficient findings of fact. Both times in the Carter case, the vote to approve the special use permit was 3-2. But at the time, you needed 4 votes.
mm,
And those that were voting against it didn't give sufficient findings of fact. You might recall, they said the solicitor was bullying him because it, was said to him. You need to make findings of fact. You're gonna say, no, what are the reasons?
Right.
Well, there weren't any reasons. And that's why it, went to court, all that it did. It wasn't fair all the way around. And that's why I'm saying that.
What's the Carton case?
In Carton, a fellow owns a large parcel of land. He was going to subdivide it. It was in Laurel Park.
Okay.
And it was in that part of Laurel Park that was just off of Metacom Avenue. So the planning board said to him, well, why do you want to subdivide it? And he said, I guess he wanted to have another unit for a family member. They talked the guy into filing an application to have like an accessory dwelling unit, which was permitted by a special use permit. And the way it was designed, was to mean like a single family. Well, there was 2 families in the area that objected. One of them happened to be a former houseman. 2 people voted no. There was sufficient findings. In fact, the court noted that there was sufficient findings of fact to approve the application. there were insufficient findings of fact for the two that voted against it.
Hmm.
And, you know, it was embarrassing for the town because the planning board talked the guy into not doing the subdivision, which he would have been approved. Instead, do this was actually better from a plan standpoint. Planning board had a problem. The point of the case was, you know, the decision was a no. You've got to back up what
Right.
you say.
Right.
You've got to have findings of fact under the standards of the ordinance. That was the case.
But this wasn't denied. This was approved by the planning board.
It was, yes.
So Tony, I
So-
read that, and I was confused in that it said the master plan was, the decision by the planning board relative to the master plan was vacated, which means overturned?
No.
Okay, you have to help us here.
There's a very tortured procedural history to this case after it got had to do with the way that the attorneys involved in the case for the applicant and for the objector, how they handled that. They did some unique things. And what happened is, as time was marching on, the court actually allowed the preliminary plan approval to take place.
Right.
So they got the approval there. Then this decision came down. So what he's, the judge is saying is that there's not sufficient findings of fact to the approval there. He's staying the planning, the preliminary plan, well, that's gonna have to change it. And he's saying you don't need to have an additional hearing. In other words, there's enough evidence out there. You just gotta make your findings of fact. And on how you approve it. That's all.
So the
This-
town,
this- I'm sorry, planning board.
the planning board needs to submit those findings of fact.
When the motion is made, what they need to do is say, these are the record facts that we're relying on. This is the
I
evidence
see, okay.
that we're relying on to approve this application. Now,
It was called a certificate of completion, Tony? It was called, they said that's what was missing, a certificate of
we
completion.
can't find a certificate.
I don't know what it is, but they said it wasn't there.
I'm gonna tell you what it is.
That's when
Okay.
the application is complete, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, is this on the record?
Maybe we should,
Yeah, we can adjourn the meeting unless you're.
No, I'll have a sidebar, Joan, with you on that.
Okay.
Discrete issue, because it's a very discrete issue.
Okay, that's fine.
But, you know, the question is when these remands happen. Is it that the board merely needs to buttress the decision that they made? The answer to that is no. We just had a case, I just had a case where I was special counsel to the town of Oracle. And that was a question, is the board locked into what they did? And the answer to that is no, here's why. It's not so much of a legal reason as a practical reason. You start delving into things, and you're looking at your findings of fact, and it turns out that there really wasn't a basis for the decision. That was the Carter case. So does the board, you know, have an ability to take a look at this, make a mistake? Yes, they do.
So
Or can they say, you know, it's the right decision, we just didn't put sufficient findings of fact in here for the court to take a look at it. Yeah, that could happen.
So they could meet and discuss this and then deny it technically.
Yes.
Wow.
No additional evidence though, is. Sometimes what happens is, the court will say, the record is devoid of any evidence here at all. You need to do more work. You need to have more evidence
Well,
presented.
I know we did. You saw what we did for that case.
Yes.
And it's,
Yes,
So it can't just be an emotional response or a, we think this should happen kind of response. There
yeah,
has to-
that's what happened, for the first round in the Settlers Green case. I'm not gonna comment on the second part of Settlers Green case, which is pending. But in the first instance, that's what the court said. It was a visceral reaction by
Yeah,
the planning
yeah.
board that was, you know, turned out to be unfortunate.
okay. Anything
Thank
else?
you.
Thank
Sorry to
you.
take up your time.
No, not at
No,
all.
thank you. This is good.
Always welcome.
Does this mean though, are you recommending that particularly if we're issuing a denial, which is not very common from this board, but if that you want us to list specifically which guideline we're referring to or specifically which part of the ordinance we're referring to?
That's
And
correct.
okay,
In other words, when you're making findings of fact, they have to be keyed to your standards.
okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
We probably should print a copy and keep it up here then for us to refer to.
Well, Tony, just one more question. Does the town's comp plan, is that considered a standard then that we're attempting to meet or, use that as a standard?
You've touched the wood.
I'm sorry.
Because in some instances now by statute, your General Assembly is that you can't rely on the town's comprehensive plan. For certain discrete applications which don't bear on you. For purposes of what you do, I think you have to adhere to your standards. What you can refer to the town's comprehensive
Okay.
plan,
Okay,
specifically as it relates to the town's historic district.
okay.
But we're not gonna see this again, are we?
For what?
If the Liberty Street
Liberty
School
Street.
project comes before the planning,
Okay,
they wouldn't refer it back to us.
They can't.
Okay,
The court, the decision specifically says no new hearings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, so what you already have is locked in.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, anything else? Make a motion to adjourn?
so moved. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.